story begins during a dark and challenging time for the Israelites. For 40 long years, they were oppressed by the Philistines. In the town of Zorah lived a man named Manoah from the tribe of Dan. He and his wife had no children because she was barren. One day, something miraculous happened. An angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife. The angel spoke with power and gentleness, saying, "You are barren and childless, but soon you will become pregnant and give birth to a son. Now be careful. Drink no wine or any fermented drink, and don't eat anything unclean. Your son's head must never be touched by a razor, for he will be a Nazirite, dedicated to God from birth. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Filled with amazement and excitement, the woman ran to tell her husband about the angel's message. Manoah, eager to understand more, prayed to the Lord, asking him to send the angel again to teach them how to raise the child. God heard Manoah's prayer, and the angel returned. Manoah, full of awe, asked, "When your words are fulfilled, what is to be the rule that will govern the boy's life and work?" The angel repeated the instructions. Manoah's wife must do all that was commanded. Not long after, Manoah's wife gave birth to a son, and they named him Samson. As Samson Inside it, a swarm of bees had made honey. Samson scooped out the honey, ate some, and shared it with his parents, without mentioning where it came from. At his wedding feast, surrounded by 30 Philistine men, Samson decided to challenge them with a riddle. "Let me tell you a riddle," he said. "If you can solve it within the 7 days of the feast, I'll give you 30 linen garments and 30 sets of clothes. But if you can't, you must give me the same." The men agreed. Samson smiled and said, "Out of the eater, something to eat. Out of the strong, something sweet." Came to Samson and said, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" Realizing they had cheated, Samson angrily replied, "If you hadn't plowed with my heifer, you wouldn't have solved my riddle." Fueled by righteous anger, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him again. Home, and in his absence, his wife was given to one of his companions. Later, during the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat and went to visit his wife. But when he arrived, her father refused to let him see her. "I thought you hated her," he explained, "so I gave her to your companion. Isn't her younger sister more attractive? Take her instead." Samson furious, attacked the Philistines and struck down many of them. Afterward, he retreated, fearing the Philistines, went to Samson and pleaded, "Don't you realize they rule over us? What have you done?" Samson replied, "I only did to them what they did to me." The men of Judah agreed to hand him over to the Philistines, but swore they wouldn't kill him themselves. They bound him with new ropes and brought him to Lehi, where the Philistines awaited. As they approached, the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully. "Sovereign Lord, remember me. Please give me strength one last time." Leaning against the pillars of the temple, Samson pushed with all his might, and the entire structure collapsed, killing thousands of Philistines and himself. In his death, Samson achieved the greatest victory over his enemies. The story of Samson is a reminder of God's power, even in the lives of imperfect people. His strength came not from himself, but from the Lord. Through his life, we learn the importance of faith, the dangers of temptation, and the ultimate victory of God's will.